Yes, beta. Today, one more new chapter will be there. That is chapter 17. That is will be related to the human physiology. Human physiology chapter 16 is the digestion, which is related by CBSE. So we have to start the breathing and exchange of gases. We have seen that gases, respiration in plants in chapter 14. That will be. Now then we have seen that how the reactions will take place, how the ATP molecules are produced. So we will see that the internal chemical reactions are the same. Whatever in plants, glycolysis we have seen, then Krebs cycle we have seen, electron transport chain we have seen, that is also in there. So here we will see how that breathing, how then we are exhaling, inhaling of gases, how then exchange of gases, what are the volume of capacity of our lungs, that is. So in this chapter we have to study about the first of all respiratory system of human being. Then we will see how then we are exhaling, inhaling gases. Then we will see that our volumes, different capacity of our body lungs. So we will see all these are one by one. So first today we will see, in this session we will do respiratory system of human being as you and me. Already we have done because it will take time. So then already I did that. So see that one. First of all of you know class 10th also you have done. That is respiratory system. Now here we will see that two lungs are there, one pair of lungs are there. Now we have got a trachea is there. So first of all it will start it from, we have done is that according to your NCERT book, we will start from the nostrils. We have got to nostril, then that will be having the nasal passage. After nasal passage, that will open into nasopharynx, where first of all you will see the first structure that is not shown in diagram, that is nostrils. One pair of nostrils, that is entry of, you can say that is a entrance. Now then second one we have got the nasal passage. Nasal passage. Then third one, that will be, this nasal passage will open into nasopharynx. Nasopharynx. That is a common place where the food pipe and windpipe both will together. So now that will be, we will start from this one. That is, first one, this is called epiglottis. That is a flap-like structure. This is epiglottis. Flap-like structure means that is a two opening. This, suppose these two are the, one is the windpipe, other one is the food pipe. Now when we are eating food from this mouth and we are inhaling gases through nostrils. Now that will be a common place. I told nasopharynx is a common place. So there are chances of that when you are eating food. So maybe that food will enter in the food pipe. So this food pipe is there. Now we can take, that will be this one. This is food pipe and this is windpipe, trachea. So now then when we are eating food, so the chances it will enter this windpipe. So for this windpipe, that opening of this windpipe is called glottis, and this glottis is covered by that a flap-like structure. There is a flap-like structure, or this flap-like structure made up of, this is made up of cartilaginous. So now this is, suppose this one. This one is the that is a windpipe, and that flap epiglottis like this. When we have food is crossing this entry, it will just cover this opening, like this open and like this. So now this flap is called epiglottis, and this opening is called glottis, right? So then this one, that epiglottis, is a flap covered this glottis entry. Now just after this entry we have got, what is it, that you can say right entry, glottis. Then we have got larynx. Larynx is also known as sound box, right? This is also called larynx or sound box, right? This one, that is also made up of cartilaginous, cartilage bones. Now then after this it will be, this is trachea, right? The next structure is trachea. That is a windpipe also, and then that further it will be just in a fifth vertebra, backside our vertebral column, just our fifth number of vertebra. Then till that thoracic cavity is there. Now till after this fifth backside, fifth vertebra. Now then it will start to divide into two. Means that will be the one chain, one tie, and like this. So now then it will, this is trachea, this is called bronchus. What is it called? My pen mix over. This is called bronchus. Right? Means when to divide trachea, then it will divide into bronchus. Then both will be in the they will divide and that moving to the enter to the lungs. Right? So now then bronchus, further these bronchus are divided into bronchi. It will be bronchi. Then further it is bronchioles. Means these are the division of this bronchus, then the further divide, then divide, then divide, and that is called primary bronchiole, primary, secondary, tertiary. Now then after that end, all these bronchioles are ends with the alveoli. Means next will be, means these bronchioles ends or terminates into air sac. That air sac are called, that air sac is called alveoli. Right? So that these all are alveoli, these air chambers you can say. Means all bronchioles opens or terminates into air chambers or alveoli. That is the next structure. Now this one, that is this lungs structure which covered by the membrane. There are two membranes. That membrane is called pleura. This one. Here you can say this one and this one. Means here two pleural membrane, that is called pleural membrane. Outer and inner. This one inner, this one outer. Means outer membrane, outer pleural membrane and inner pleural membrane. That is means that lungs is covered by this one, that enclosed in the membrane. That membrane is double layered, and that double layer is called outer pleural membrane and inner pleural membrane. Means here lungs are covered by, lungs encloses within pleural membrane. Okay, pleural membrane means that will be covered inside this one also. Here also we can draw like inside it, pleural membrane. You see inner membrane, inner pleural membrane towards the surface of lungs. Means that one towards the surface of lungs, but that touches the lungs area, and outer membrane touches to the thoracic cavity. Outer side is, that is a thoracic cavity. Clear? Now then these shapes are there. These shapes are, that is the cut piece. We have shown the diagram. Then that is a rib cage. Means that will be the all lungs, just you know this is lungs, and that will be covered by the rib cage. So now then that is a cut piece of ribs. You can see that is a cut piece of ribs. Right? So now then these are alveoli. Now this one you can see that trachea is covered by the rings, or it is made up of cartilaginous rings. Means you can see till now that is covered. Why it is, you know, it will be in class 10th also that question, that why it is covered by these rings or cartilaginous rings. Rings are very important for, means it will make this trachea stiff. But if air is not there, because of these rings it will be stiff or erect. Now otherwise it will become collapse if these rings are not there. So then you know, when the air is in tire, cycle tire, you know, cycle wheel tire, and without air that will be collapsed, पिचक जाता है. In the same way it can also be there. If air is not there, that will be the chances of collapsing that trachea. So now, because to avoid this condition, to avoid this collapsing, now it will be covered by the cartilaginous rings. Okay, so this one, these are the structure. We will see that, as you see that these lungs are very delicate part. So now it will be this pleural membrane are the protection point of view. Then they have got outer, inner in between that one, that gap. The gap between the outer pleural membrane and inner pleural membrane, that gap is filled by a fluid. that gap is filled by fluid. That fluid is called pleural fluid. Right? That fluid is called pleural fluid. Now here it will help in protect from the any jerking, any mechanical shock. So then whatever the jerking or mechanical shocks, whatever, it will be absorbed by this fluid. So then that lungs are protected because it is very, very delicate. Now the dome-like shape is that like this one, means that shape like this, means in between two lungs are there, in between that dome shape structure is there. That dome shape structure is called diaphragm. What is it called? That is a diaphragm. Already you know that that is a diaphragm. We will see what is the function of this. Here that will be this diaphragm. So now this is about the internal structure of this respiratory system, human respiratory system. Now then here when we talk about this one, when through nostril or nasal passage, then nasal passage having this here, right, here is the patient there. What they are doing? First of all, they are avoiding the dust particle. Again these hairs are, means they are clear the air. Whatever air we are inhaling, now that will be maybe some particles or pollutants are there. So now then that will make the clear air, clear air and moist is there, moist air, so that easily it can transport through the nasal passage towards the nasopharynx. That will become the glottis, then larynx, through larynx the trachea, and then ultimately it will become alveoli. Okay, so these are the structure. We will see now how these are protected, right? These protected with, first you see, then I told about the pleural membrane. That is a protection is there because they have got between the gap between outer membrane and inner membrane, the fluid is there. That fluid is called pleural fluid, and it is also protecting the lungs from jerking or from any mechanical shock. It will avoid the damage. So now then second one is there, how it will be. I told these lungs are present here. This side is our ventral side, or this side is our called dorsal side. Okay, so now then that lungs are protected. First of all, lateral side. When we talk about this lateral side, this one, that will be these lungs are covered by the ribs or rib cage, right? That rib cage protecting this in a lateral side. Means laterally it will be protected. You can feel up when you touch your this area, you can see the rib cage are there. So now in that rib cage, this rib cage in the lungs are present. So the laterally that will be protected by rib cage. Means protection of that, these lungs, a very delicate part of our respiratory system. So first of all it will be laterally protected by rib cage, or you can say ribs. Second, then in ventral part, this one ventral, this, when you feel, when you just rub your hand like this, so the flat bones are there, you feel the flat surface is there, and that flat surface is called sternum. So the ventral, this is our ventral side. So from this ventral side, the lungs are protected by the sternum. It is a part of bone, that is sternum, sternum, right? That is the front protection. Dorsal lateral protection by rib cage, then the front protection by the sternum, and then that will be last in the back portion or dorsally, that is you can say ventrally. Ventral side protection by sternum, dorsal side by vertebral column. You can say thoracic column, या thoracic vertebra, thoracic. सब पेन खराब हो गया बेटा. All thoracic vertebra, right? Then that thoracic vertebra that will be covered by vertebra, means you know in that back portion that will be. So then, and in lower region means laterally side this one, that ventral side this one, dorsal side this one. Now all that protection. Now the lower part, lower abdomen, means that portion will be protected by this diaphragm. The dome shaped diaphragm that will be diaphragm. Means there are four types of protection, four sides protection is there. First one is the lateral side through rib cage, then sternum, ventral side, then thoracic vertebra, the dorsal side, and diaphragm, that is a below or lower part of this region. The dome shaped diaphragm protect these lungs. That is a protection. So now we will see that one. This in this column inside this lungs, inner side lungs, whatever the gas or air is present, that is called pulmonary cavity. This one is called pulmonary cavity. Right? Means number of times it will be used in the NCERT book, so don't get confused. This inner volume of this lungs is called pulmonary volume, pulmonary cavity also you can say, or air is there, so we can take cavity, pulmonary cavity. And when outside of this lungs, this one means in the rib cage is there, diaphragm is there, in the outer side of this area, that is called thoracic cavity. What is it called? Thoracic cavity. Means here we have got pulmonary, means whatever air is present here, that is the pulmonary volume of air. What air is present outside of this lung, that is called thoracic volume of air. These words are used frequently here. We will see in the next portion, that will be in the breathing portion. Then when we will do breathing process, how it will be. So then these terms are used. So now that is about the respiratory system of human being. Here we have seen the lungs, how they are protected by all sides. Now what layers are there, how they are dividing. So these alveoli are the air surface. Now see the steps of respiration. Right? We will see the steps of respiration during this. What will be the whole respiration depending in 5 steps. Okay, that air breathing process in 5 steps. First step, you see that in first step what will be there. Gaseous exchange means inhale of oxygen and exhale of carbon dioxide. Means inhale of, my God, what pens are there? Oh, what is there? It means inhale of oxygen and exhale of carbon dioxide. First process is there. Now then second one, then that will be the transport of gases through air alveoli. Means when the air will be passing through this one, come to this. So now then the transport of gases through alveolar surface. Right? Alveolar surface. Now then third step is there. Then that will be transport of gases by blood through the body, and the transport of air by blood, or you can say through blood. Now fourth step, then transport of that gases to the blood and tissue. Means transport of air between blood and tissue. Transport of air between blood and tissue. Right? And then finally last step, then that will be again from tissue, the transport of that gas from tissue to air. Means first of all that air will come through this, it will be taken by diffusion process, then it will be taken by the blood, then blood will transport to the tissues, from the tissues that will be exchange of that gases, then the tissue will take in that blood, the transport of gases from tissue to alveoli. These are the total 5 steps are there. It is given in your book. Just open your NCERT book also. You can see that these steps are, I will explain according to these steps which I have told in the shortcut. So yes, see that one. Respiration involving the following steps. First one, breathing or pulmonary ventilation. Pulmonary ventilation, pulmonary volume, this one. Right? Now then breathing or pulmonary ventilation, by which atmospheric air is drawn in and CO2 rich alveolar air is released out. Means I told in short, inhale of O2, exhale of CO2, which we have written in the long sentence. Now then second, the diffusion of gases, means here transport of gases through alveoli, alveolar surface, means here that will diffusion will take place. Diffusion means gases will diffuse from alveolar region to the blood. Now then third point is there, transport of gases by blood. I told this one, transport of air gases by blood. Fourth step is there, that is diffusion of O2 and CO2 between blood and tissue, right? And now the next step is there, that is that means again that blood tissue from tissue to alveoli, tissue to, you can write here, tissue to alveoli, right? And utilization of O2 by now then in the last here oxygen will reach the tissue, and then here utilization of oxygen in catabolic activities, means here oxidation of food, right? Catabolic activity, oxidation of or breakdown of food by this oxygen. So now then after this utilization of this oxygen by the cells or catabolic reactions, and resultant we have got carbon dioxide which will go back to the alveoli, and we have got during this process we have got means that oxygen will be utilized in mitochondria, and then that will produce ATP molecules. So these are the total 5 steps. Now then how, means the whole breathing chapter depending on these 5, how it will be. So we will see the mechanism of this breathing in the next topic. It is not possible today, it cannot be completed, but now again we will see that one, respiratory system of human being. We have got one pair of lungs, that will be first of all nasal nostrils, then nasal passage, then nasopharynx region. Through that we have got glottis, which will be covered by the epiglottis, flap-like cartilaginous structure. Now then trachea, the trachea divided into 2 parts, that is called bronchus. Now that is covered by the rings, cartilaginous rings, now which will protect this one, and it will avoid or prevent them from the collapsing. Now then it will further divided into primary, tertiary, secondary bronchioles. Each bronchiole terminates or ends with the air sac. Air sac means air chambers. These are called alveoli. Now then through this, that is a diffusion surface for the gases. Now then this each lungs will covered by a pleural membrane, double layer membrane, that is called outer pleural membrane and inner pleural membrane. Now in between that is having the fluid is there. That fluid is called pleural fluid, which will protect the lungs from jerking or from any mechanical shock. Now then it will be, this will be protection given by the other, means that is a one protection given by these pleural membrane. Second will be given by the rib cage, laterally protection given by rib cage, ventral protection given by the sternum, then back dorsal surface protection given by the thoracic vertebra, and then in the lower abdomen region, in lower side of lungs will be protected by the dome shape of this diaphragm. So now all sided will be covered or protected by these organs. So now then, because it is very delicate, we will see then the steps of respiration. First of all, you know, our nasal nostrils we have got here. That here they filter the air, they purify the air, all the dust particles or pollutants that will be outside, and only pollutant free air enter, means clearing the air. And then it will also moist, because fluid, you know, in our nasal passage fluid is there, moist air is there. So now then that will become, air will become moist in the nasal passage, so that easily through that nasal passage it will enter this area, and now then enter the trachea. This is called exhale and inhale of gases, exhale of carbon dioxide, inhale of oxygen. And then second step, then that will reach here, so then diffusion of that will be, means carbon dioxide will be outside and oxygen will be inside. Now then that will be taken by the blood will move to arteries and vessels, that oxygen will also moving, and now then that will be blood, that through blood then it will be transported to the tissues. In the tissues, that is utilization of that oxygen, what they inhale, and then they are giving energy, and that will go part of mitochondria. Then oxidation, catabolic reaction will take place, or you can say oxidation reaction will take place, oxidation of food. and now then we are getting energy. These 5 steps, further we will see what mechanisms are there, how then the breathing process is going on. It is not easy process. Exhale, we are calling only exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale is not when we are inhaling or we are exhaling. That is not a simple process. That is a very complicated process. We will see how it will happen in next class. Okay, only revise that, learn this respiratory system also. Already you have learned, I think that is not new for you. Class 10th already you have done. That is very simple. The main emphasis we have to give for 11th point of view, we have to give the mechanisms. Not in this, we have to make a mechanism of the breathing. How then the breathing will take place. How that the exchange of gases will take place. That is the chemical, biochemical, that is a mechanical process. Breathing totally mechanical process when the physical processes are applying, and the exchange of gases, that is also physical process. Then the catabolic reaction, that is a chemical reaction. Okay, so then we will see in the next class, we will see how the breathing process is going on. Okay, then just you revise it, go through that, revise. If you have got any confusion or problem, you can ask in class. Okay.